Hey, what's up everybody? My name is Zelkenon, and this is once yet another Smite Super Builds, and today's episode is ISIS. So this was another requested build to do right after AMC, so I went ahead and went through some of my match history and whatnot, and kind of went over what her abilities, what the cooldowns, and I kind of summed up this together, and let's go ahead and go with it. So active wise, as I always say, it depends who you're fighting. Beads work well since she has no real escape, except you can call her one and escape to kind of backpedal without movement speed reduction and or your ulti. But some situations you need to just remove the crowd control effect that is on you. So Purification Beads is always a great active if you're being either focused a lot or you're fighting somebody like Ares or Hades pulling you in and whatnot. Meditation, that's just, it doesn't really matter. Like I said, just depends on your play style and who you're fighting is for your actives. She's a Magi. She doesn't need too much cooldown reduction. Without cooldown reduction, her 1 and 2 is 10-second long cooldown, which is not too bad. But the problem is, those are her main damaging abilities, and so you probably would like to get some cooldown reduction. That's why I went Chronos Pendant second. But we do need penetration first. That way we can just kind of chunk them hard with our two abilities that we do have. You can use your ulti in an aggressive stance, but it's a little bit more difficult to do that. So, I mean, unless if you're super pro ISIS, but that's a whole other thing. So, Chronos Pendant, a lot of MP5, sorry. This allows for a great sustained. This works really well for all mages if you're playing in Assault. This is probably the only time I really play Ice is in Assault, so Chronos Pendant is recommended for mages for Assault. But besides the fact, like I was mentioning, with cooldown reduction, 25% and a lot of power, it works really well with ISIS. As you see, we have went down from 10-second cooldown to a 7.5-second cooldown for both our 1 and 2. The 3 has a little bit lengthy cooldown timer at 13.5. It was like I think 17 seconds. And then our ulti goes from 90 seconds to 67.5 seconds, so that works out really great. Next, since mages don't have a scaling on their magical defense, I kind of recommend Focus Voidstone, because if anybody has magical penetration, you will have pretty much absolutely no defense, and they're going to hit you incredibly hard, so this helps out boosting that up. But if you're not fighting any magical gods by some strange chance, then avoid this item and buy a different item, and I'll go over some alternatives later on. So power, more penetration, that brings us to 40 penetration. That is quite a lot of penetration. So we have a lot of burst damage with our 1 and 2. Next, Bancroft's Talon. This works well because your 1, especially if you're clearing minions, your 1 kind of just swoops all the minions multiple times, getting you a lot of life steal pretty quickly. And also, most people use her ulti defensively, like if you're in a team fight or you're being ganked or whatnot. When you place your ulti, your damage, since you're getting ganked or whatnot, your HP is going to be really low. And with this passive Bancroft's Talon, once you're really low and then you pop your ultimate, it's going to do more damage. Because if you look at the passive, you gain 1 additional magical power per 1% of your missing health. So that works for oh man, I need some help here. But Bancroft's Talon also adds the more life to it and a lot more power, and it's not too expensive an item at all. I really like it. Gem of Isolation. This works well with your 1. So if you're able to at least hit him once with your 1, you can hit multiple times. Well, a higher chance of hitting multiple times on that target, since they'll be slowed as soon as you land one of your 1s. So this works well for that. Also grants you a little bit more HP and mana to survive, since she doesn't have that great of a HP scaling. Although it is a mage, but still her HP scaling is really low, so that helps that out. And of course, the awesome power. Finally, to top it all off, Rod of Tahuti for that extra power in MP5. It's just obvious reason why you should get a Rod of Tahuti. And of course, potions if you can buy it. So, we have a wonderful 1900 HP, 1800 MP, 556 power, it's a decent amount, 63 physical, and 80 magical defense. both defenses. So that works out pretty well. As you can see, hopefully you can see it on the mana bar on the right side. We have plus 55 mana per 5 seconds. So that's a lot of sustain. It works really well. Like, let's say if you're doing mid lane in the Conquest, and there you go. And same goes for Assault. So now that's all done. So let's go ahead and before I was gonna do alternatives for the Focus Void Stone. So like if you're fighting no to little physical gods, I'll probably sell that Focus Void Stone and probably pick up Polyonomicon. I personally like it. With her hit progression, it's like 1/1 and then a big huge arc, so you have a higher chance of landing that Polyonom. So I mean, it's a thing. If you're not good at basic attacks, probably go with something else different. Like if you're fighting physicals, Wall of Absolution would work well for that. So those are some other items. If you're a guy to, or girl, whatever you are, if you like to clear a lot of minions, or you're in that scenario where you're clearing a lot of minions or whatever, Warlock Sash works well. It works really well for helping mages survive in Conquest in the mid lane, because, like I said before, your scaling is super low. But besides all that, let's go ahead and test out our damages. 338, pretty nice. We have red buff, 660 magical power. And let's try out our 2. Yeah, and right out the basic attack. So there's your damage, if you're wondering. That's what I was talking about, the burst damage. If you want more burst damage, you could probably buy Soul Reaver. I'll show you guys exactly. Jeez, I love the damage output. And the basic is just beautiful. The problem with Soul Reaver is it's super pricey, but the passive is nice, but at the same time, yeah, look at it, it's 3,100. It does a lot of power, but it's super pricey, and the passive it's once every 60 seconds. So you have to time your abilities accordingly to every 60 seconds. And my frames are dropping out of nowhere. Okay, so let's go on. We have Magical Might Potion, 732. Elixir, 859. Dang, dude. That's a lot. Health 1100. Sorry if you can hear that. That's my Skype going. I want to feel this. Nah, whatever. Get out of here. So, kind of tired of my frames dropping. That pretty much wraps it up anyway for this ISIS super build. I hope this helps you guys out. If you have any further questions, let me know in the comments below. And as always, thanks for watching. I really appreciate it, and see you guys later.